bad blood. It's not like Charlo or nothing, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Like, I have no bad blood against them. You know,
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, what you just heard was the voice of undefeated two-time WBC super middleweight world champion superstar Mexican boxer David Benavidez, who is 25 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 25 years of age, 6'1" with a 75-inch arm reach. He was discussing the fact that his fellow Mexican, a superstar boxer, 4 division world champion, who is currently the undisputed super middleweight world champion, widely considered the face of the sport of boxing, and top number one, if not top three, best pound for pound fighters in the world, in Saul Canelo Alvarez. He stated that he has no issues in the fact that Canelo Alvarez has not chose him. Canelo Alvarez stated that David Benavidez doesn't bring anything to the table. He hasn't done anything, and David Benavidez just wants a payday, needs to fight the other best good fighters in and around the division. And he stated that, he looks up to Canelo Alvarez. He has no issue with Canelo Alvarez. There's no bad blood between him and Canelo Alvarez. Not like him and Jermall Charlo. So he was asked about undefeated 2 division world champion superstar boxer Jermall Lions Only Charlo as well. We know that they have a history. They went back and forth via social media. And David Benavidez, he stated that, he knows that if what Canelo Alvarez did was business. It was all business. It had nothing to do with personal. He says with him and Jermall Charlo, it's personal. Jermall Charlo is 32 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach at 31 years of age. So Jermall Charlo initially stated that when asked about David Benavidez, he would knock out David Benavidez if they ever fought. And he stated that David Benavidez just lacks in the defense department, which would see him get knocked out because he can't withstand what I'm dealing with and dishing out, for 12 rounds. So eventually I'm going to stop him or knock him out, is what Jermall Charlo said. So David Benavidez, he responded to this, in which David Benavidez, he stated that, let's make it happen ASAP. From that point on, when David Benavidez got wind of that and heard of that, David Benavidez was very aggressive in pursuing Jermall Charlo and a fight with Jermall Charlo. Now, Jermall Charlo campaigns at 160. David Benavidez campaigns at 168. But Jermall Charlo, he stated to go up to 168, he would face off against Canelo Alvarez or former IBF super middleweight world champion superstar boxer Caleb Sweethand Plant. But when it came to David Benavidez, he stated that he had no interest in facing David Benavidez because David Benavidez simply brought nothing to the table. He's not a world champion. He's not a big pay-per-view star. There's no reason to pursue David Benavidez or go up to super middleweight. Then he stated that David Benavidez was too young. You got to be over 25 if you want to fight. So there was a lot of stipulations, a lot of things. But David Benavidez was actively and aggressively pursuing a fight with Jermall Charlo. He started calling Jermall Charlo out his name. That's a fight that he really wants, and he believes Jermall Charlo is avoiding him, okay? So when he was asked in this particular interview if he was to come across Canelo Alvarez, what would it be? Would there be tension? Would there be a problem? How would the moment be, right? And he stated that he looks up to Canelo Alvarez, so it won't be a big problem. He stated, but if it came down to Canelo Alvarez or Jermall Charlo, he said, I don't have an issue with Canelo Alvarez, but Jermall Charlo, if I see Jermall Charlo and come across Jermall Charlo, it's going to be an issue because it's personal, okay? So with that said, he stated that, if they see each other face to face, it's going to be an issue, okay? Now, we saw the Charlo brothers, the identical twins. Jermall Charlo obviously is who we're discussing currently. We know Jermall Charlo is a 2-time junior middleweight world champion and unified junior middleweight world champion right now, currently as it stands, heading into May 14th rematch for Undisputed with Brian Castano. So he's heading into another Undisputed showdown. And so David Benavidez, he's stating that, we've seen the Charlo brothers out and about. They got into an altercation with Javed Hurd. They're very confrontational. It's not the first time we've seen them get in a confrontation with Hurd, where Hurd actually reached out and slapped Jermall Charlo, right? So with that said, they go back and forth. They're very, they have a huge chip on their shoulder, okay? And so David Benavidez, he's stating that it's personal with them. if they cross paths, it could possibly be an issue out and about. Now, I'm not one to agree with this, because for one, these guys make millions upon millions of dollars to square off in a squared circle. So there's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, for them, to have any type of altercation or any type of physical confrontation in the public, okay? Especially not at events, especially not at fights, okay? Because you have a lot of fans looking at them, a lot of fans looking to them, so you have a lot of people, wanting to take pictures, wanting to get autographs. So there's fans in the middle, and so when you have that, people looking up to you, you can't have a bad image in that situation. You understand? Now, I understand, and I believe that David Benavidez, it won't escalate to that level. But if confronted with, if he did confront Jermall Charlo, it would escalate to that. I don't believe on David Benavidez's part it would get there, but Jermall Charlo, their temperament is going to allow that situation to escalate to possibly a physical altercation. So that's unfortunate because this is a huge fight. Now, we know that there's huge fights for David Benavidez. His promoter, actually, and manager Samson Likowicz, he was just stating that he has a lot of respect in a relationship with the Charlo brothers. He don't believe that Jermall Charlo is avoiding David Benavidez. He think it's more so of the business part that's preventing them from coming together in a squared circle. So he stated that, he believes that fight could possibly take place down the line, but a fight with David Benavidez and undefeated 2-division world champion superstar boxer Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade is off the table and absolutely won't happen because he stated that Andrade, he don't like the style of Demetrius Andrade. He feels like Demetrius Andrade wins by, the only thing on his mind is winning, not entertaining the fans or selling tickets or promoting the fight. So he said that fight is off the table. But there's a huge storyline for Jermall Charlo and David Benavidez, okay, that would see them, sell a lot of tickets, the storyline. Imagine the press conference, the build up for that fight. Jermall Charlo is now saying that he's going to move up to super middleweight, so we could possibly see Jermall Charlo versus Caleb Plant since Canelo Alvarez. He was rumored to fight Jermall Charlo May 7th, but we know Canelo Alvarez is going to ride a fighting Dimitri Bivol, WBA light heavyweight world champion, May 7th, Cinco de Mayo weekend, opposed to fighting Jermall Charlo. So with that said, we still have to see who Jermall Charlo's opponent is going to be. But we know David Benavidez is going to face off against David Lemieux, and it looks like that fight could take place May 21st, in Las Vegas, for the WBC interim position to become the mandatory for Canelo Alvarez, who's the undisputed champion, and is looking like he's going to chase undisputed at light heavyweight. So he possibly could vacate the titles, but there's also talk that that Canelo Alvarez is going to fight Gennady Triple G Golovkin, his biggest rival, who they already fought twice. First fight ended a draw. Second fight saw Canelo Alvarez the victor. Canelo Alvarez said that is a personal situation, and he's chasing that fight at the end of the year. Okay, so we don't know if that's going to be in September or at the end of the year. Arthur Beterbiev going to fight Joe Smith Jr. in unification bout? We just don't know. So and possibly he beats David Lemieux, that being David Benavidez. Jermall Charlo, man, he gets another fight. People are tired of seeing Jermall Charlo with C and B level type of fighters. So it's going to be interesting to see who he fights next. But after his next opponent, he's been out the ring for over a year now, going on over a year. So he needs to get active as well. And then we possibly could get Jermall Charlo versus David Benavidez in September. Hopefully Jermall Charlo steps in the ring very, very soon, and we get a fight between the two in September. So we got to see how this unfolds and plays out. But David Benavidez, he lets it be known, if I see Jermall Charlo, it's on site. It's a problem. It's truly an issue between the two of us. I don't like him. It's personal. So if we did cross paths out and about, it could be an issue. But when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, I look up to Canelo Alvarez. I respect what Canelo Alvarez is doing. So if we do cross paths, it's not going to be an issue. Now, I would say that people are going to have an issue with that. Why won't you have an issue with Canelo? It's not as personal, okay? Jermall Charlo, they've been going back and forth via social media and things that the interviews, and it's getting deep. But when it comes to David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez, he just kind of dismisses David Benavidez. He doesn't really go into him being his age and not being good and things of that nature. So let's see how this all unfolds and plays out. Hopefully we get Jermall Charlo versus David Benavidez in September. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. All one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.